none of those things are true, right? What I'm actually saying is I have no idea who created Bitcoin. What we know is the narrative of how Bitcoin was created is that it was a thought experiment and a working thought experiment that was distributed by an unknown individual to a mailing list, and it seems to have done remarkably well at continuing to propagate itself. Now, how much of that was facilitated? How much of that was supported by foreign actors?
You just heard Mike over here say that he believes or alluded to the fact that Bitcoin was basically made out of nowhere, that possibly a foreign bad actor was behind the creation of Bitcoin. Do we have any indications, but I don't know who Satoshi is or what Satoshi is, that they were working with foreign actors? Was Hal Finney running Bitcoin with some foreign bad actors? I don't think so. No one really believes that. Bitcoin, right? We're talking about decentralized finance leading this alt season over here. We're taking a look at the projects that we believe are going to continue to drive that and be the leaders. And I mentioned that Bitcoin is the most decentralized cryptocurrency and the only currency of them all. People kind of, what about China? 60% of all mining pools, 60% of the hash rate, or we could say the majority of the hash rate is controlled by China. Is it possible the Chinese government decides to control them? Bitcoin could easily go under a cartel attack. That would be the end. Bitcoin is obviously run by incentives. Now, in this video, they get into a lot of different topics. They talk about who controls Bitcoin, right? And should it be banned? We talk about the benefits of Bitcoin to the United States itself. And then this conversation between Anthony Pompilano and Anthony speaking, coming from an uber bullish projection of Bitcoin, talking about it becoming the world reserve currency. Nevertheless, Anthony does seem to have a good handle on Bitcoin, its cycle. He's a really good spokesman for Bitcoin. He's able to articulate it well. Really good, bullish case for Bitcoin, answering these questions about whether or not Bitcoin could be successfully attacked. And you can listen to both sides of the argument. This is Real Vision. I believe there's a trial, right? This is Raoul Pal's service, Real Vision. This is the type of video that at the end of the year, I'm like, I'm glad I subscribe, right? Because most of the time I don't really follow much of the content on here. Every once in a while, there's a really interesting interview. And at that point, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Listening to Anthony speak here was one of those occasions. I recommend it. But at the end of the day, also realize you're listening to someone, Mike. Listen, if you don't have an understanding of Bitcoin, then you could easily be swayed, I believe. But if you understand Bitcoin, I think that Mike's arguments fall very short. Also, understand where Mike is coming from. In how he alludes to the origins of Bitcoin. I think that's important when you're deciding whom you should listen to. First of all, it should be someone with a history of being correct, right? Not someone who's just, constantly wrong. Should you be waiting, and Anthony makes the point over here, listen, are you waiting for the black swan event to occur that could possibly occur? Or are you trading the prevalent trend that's definitely in place and it's really strong?
Exactly that point. One of the specific points that I heard Mike make, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, is the risk of a non-state actor potentially attacking the network with hash power. When you think about it as a technologist, do you see that as a significant risk to the potential stability of the network and the value of the underlying Bitcoin tokens?
Before you respond, Ash, I just want to clarify. It's not a non-state, it's a non-economic actor, right? So a state actor would be a good example of a non-economic actor.
Yeah, and Mike, I'll summarize your point just to make sure that kind of we're all talking about the same thing here. Your argument essentially is there is an actor who, for non-economic reasons, could determine that Bitcoin is bad and therefore would take actions that have no economic benefit to them, but have some sort of non-economic benefit, whether that's for power, control, censorship, etc. Fair categorization of the argument?
Yes.
So the other question, man, 4 minutes apart. Two good questions over here. Jordan, what if you're wrong about inflation? What if I'm wrong about inflation? This morning we were covering here in the live stream how every single data point possible is showing rampant signs of inflation. It's not if there's inflation, it's, the inflation is prevalent and it's clear. Now, going back maybe in March when the Fed did enact the $4.1 trillion expansion of their balance sheet, the debate was whether or not there would be inflation or that was going to cause further deflation. I was very clear about the turn I saw. Having coming off of that deflation side of the trade, I saw an event that changed my mind, and now I've been on the right side of that trade since the inception. If you're listening to some people who are still on the wrong side of that trade for now a very long time, and they're like, well, I think that deflation's going to come back. I mean, what do you mean? There's only one right side of the trade, and that's what the market shows you. Right now, it is clear as day that we are seeing inflation, and no one is denying that. Even those that were saying it wouldn't happen are still saying, okay, well, it's clear, it's temporary, we're going to get hit hard with deflation. If that happens, you know that I'm going to be there, as I've been on every turn, and I'll be on the right side of the trade. But right now, that's not even a conversation to have. These guys don't get to have the conversation when you've been on the wrong side of the trade for that long. Jordan, I've been following your channel since November. I cannot stress the amount of changes that have taken place, not only in my view and trading of the markets, but my life in general. I sincerely thank you. Listen, you just don't make your followers believe in you. You make them believe in themselves, and that's priceless. I'm excited for what's in store for the rest of the year and the continued greatness of CTM. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. I have no idea how many lives are affected by what we do. I get a glimpse through comments like these that I receive. I wish my wife understood the difference that we were all making here. It's not easy to understand the impact it has on it, but it's having a very important impact on a lot of lives, and I'm grateful for that. You've been spot on with your trades since I started following your channel this summer. You've helped me earn a life-changing money since I started following you. Well done, and thank you for sharing that with me for sure. Thank you, Life, for bringing me to Jordan on July 2020. Immensely grateful. I guess I'm a very good person to deserve this. Listen, Jordan, listen, we're all this. The thing about grace, the thing is no one deserves it. God is generous in his grace. It's not that we deserve it. Any blessing that we receive, it's out of the goodness and graciousness of God. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Jordan, would you include Dogecoin into your price analysis, please? It's been horizontal over the past 2 days. Tony, absolutely. Listen, I do not talk about Dogecoin because there's nothing to talk about over here. There's an amazing amount of meme play about Dogecoin. If you're interested in it, Elon is covering it enough. I don't need to. I'm focused on Signal. I'm focused in what matters. That's Bitcoin. Did Elon put 1.5 billion of Dogecoin onto his balance sheet of Tesla? Or did he put what? The most important trade that matters, Bitcoin. You all know that's where my focus is. Speaking of which, is right now just under $47,000. Bitcoin at $38,000 is as comfortable as it can be. Anything above should be just super, super easy to hold on to carry, to be involved in the most important trade that matters. We continue to see Binance Coin rise over here, 33% up right now. So it looks like it was way higher, right? So it must have been up close to 40% over here. Now coming off its high over there. Is this the time to exit? Listen, if you got into this trade, and there are a few of you on the Discord channel that got into this trade, we're asking, when am I taking profits? I don't know when you got into the trade. I don't know if it was when we looked at it a few days ago in the live stream, or what exactly was your entry and why. And if you got into that trade, you should be knowing on whether or not you're taking profits, whether or not you're holding, and how you're managing that trade. That's what we do here. That's what we do. So you can see over here, Chainlink, I see Cardano, I see Monero, the ones that are on my watch list over here, Theta unchanged, the rest of those up over here. I'm looking at the Bitcoin crosses. They're almost unchanged right now. Bitcoin continuing just to outperform Ethereum by a small margin. Let's see what happens next from here, and let's see whether or not we see Bitcoin continue. And it's, as Gene noted this morning, why it's in price discovery, if it continues to put pressure on the rest of the alts until it gets towards its next resistance level, somewhere around $70,000. If it runs into any type of drawdown and or consolidation up there, do alts begin to run, or are we going to see a pass off right now and look at altcoins? Well, we're just going to keep tracking them. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you when it's going to happen. because we'll just follow what's happening on the charts. Right now over here, we have a trend line to draw on Aave Bitcoin. Obviously, you're about, I would say, 30% off the high over here. Is that a place to start scaling in if you're interested? 28%? Yes, it is, unless you're waiting for the clear signal. The clear signal is the break of that trend line. If we need to readjust at a sharper angle in the days or sessions ahead, we'll do that. Ethereum, Bitcoin, you can see that really sharp angle. You can see it even more pronounced over here. I'm just going to draw something like that over there on Ethereum, Bitcoin. Focus in on this resistance over here, this resistance at 0.3967. Get it back above that. Also breaking outside of that trend line. That's when we see Ethereum start running against Bitcoin. Taking a look at Ethereum over here, you could see that last bit of resistance after making the new all-time high. It came into some volatility over here, consolidated, breakout, retest, resuming off, making a new swing high. Ethereum looks as bullish as can be right over here. What about DOT versus Bitcoin? You could see it into the support. I'm going to draw a trend line over here so you could see. Give a like if you're enjoying the flow. Smash that like button. Help support my work here. Help support this channel and what we do. Do appreciate it very much. Over here on DOT Bitcoin, you can see I'll just throw that over there. We're consolidating down into support. A resumption out of there after building this big base. Should see a big move. It's alt season. Which tokens, which projects am I focused on? I'm focused on DeFi. Over here, you can see the ones that I've been following, the ones I've been adding, tidying up. It was just before Binance exploded to the upside over here that we started tracking it. Chainlink for a while. DOT, Alan bought this up early. Alt season's not just starting now. It's just really evident to a lot of people and clear as day that it's here, that it's real, and that it's happening, being led by DeFi and strong projects. We were a year ago talking about it was going to be 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. Sure enough, right on time. We're just getting going over here, though. We got a good amount of time left in this bull market phase over here. I'm talking 7 months or so. We'll track it. We'll time it. We'll be here together. Everyone, have a beautiful day.